Honorable members, the matters under Rule 377 shall be laid on the table of the House. Members who have been permitted to raise matters under Rule 377 today and are desirous of laying them may personally hand over the text of the matter at the table of the House within 20 minutes. Only those matters shall be treated as laid for which text of the matter has been received at the table within stipulated time. The rest will be treated as lapsed. Item number 11, Honorable Minister. Yes.
Deputy Speaker, sir, I beg to move that bill further to amend the National Institutes of Technology, Science, Education and Research Act 2007 be taken into consideration. I want to give the brief outline of what the bill is. देश में शिक्षा में सबको आस्था है. इस सदन के इस ओर से लेकर यहां तक हर एक का अगर एक विषय में इंटरेस्ट है तो वो शिक्षा में है, क्योंकि हर घर को छूने वाला, हर व्यक्ति को छूने वाला शिक्षा एक विषय है. और इसलिए हमने जो प्रधानमंत्री जी की नीति है, सबको शिक्षा, अच्छी शिक्षा, एक्सेसिबल एजुकेशन, एक्सेसिबिलिटी, क्वालिटी एंड अफोर्डेबिलिटी एंड अकाउंटेबिलिटी, ऑल फोर. और उसके लिए ये नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट्स है, उसकी बहुत मांग है, क्योंकि दे रिप्रेजेंट एवरीथिंग, ऑल फॉर व्हाट वी स्टैंड फॉर. इट्स अ क्वालिटी एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूट्स. दे आर regarded as best. The result is 100% placements, and not only that, but it is affordable also. Actually किसी की दिल क्या मांगे तो सबको ही इतनी अफोर्डेबल शिक्षा मिले, लेकिन अपना देश भी बड़ा है तो निजी संस्थान और फी का स्ट्रक्चर भी आता है. But today, what we are introducing is National Institute Technology, Science, Education and Research Act 2007, in which 20 institutes were recognized as national institutes of technology, science, education and research. It's all important. Technology, science, education and research. All three are important. We can't just create only technocrats with application sciences. No. We must learn basic science also. And we must also promote research. Sir, may I mention that where India lacks, it lacks in innovation. Why? Because we don't allow inquisitiveness from the childhood. हम बच्चे को स्कूल में कहते चुप बैठो, प्रश्न मत पूछो. Actually, he should ask, she should ask. When they ask question, they are challenging what is there, and then only they can find something new. So innovation is the product of research, and therefore basic sciences, basic research has to be thrust of higher education. And in that end, these national institutes, NITs, as they are popularly called, like IITs, ISERs, all these have become institutes of national importance, national excellence. And that is what we have created through last 70 years. And these kind of institutes actually make the country a prosperous country. Countries can prosper by 4 ways. One is the European way, the way they prospered through colonial exploitation. One part of the story was that. Second is that if you have like Middle East, they have tremendous things given natural bounty, so anywhere you dig and you have the oil. So that's another way. The third way is what India and China adopted. They mastered in adaptation, reverse engineering, cost competitiveness, and they flourished. But the real prosperity comes through innovation. We have this mobile with us, this brand or any other brand. As an IT task force chairman of my state, I was with Steve Jobs for 2 days. And that time in 98, iPhone was not there. But he was telling us his dream project of iPhone, where he will put all utilities, all applications, everything in a handheld thing. Earlier, computers used to be so big. And people were using different applications for different utilities, different applications were used. But he combined all into one. That's the power of, and that's the wealth creation. The material cost may be 5,000 rupees, but this becomes 50,000 rupees because that is what innovation puts to it. So we must promote innovation, we must promote research. That's the major task and challenge for our higher education system. And therefore these national institutes are really important. And today, what I am bringing to you is in a way part of completion of assurance which was given to state of Andhra Pradesh, newly carved out state. Because the NIT was already there, which is now part of Telangana. So the new state also requires NIT. That was our promise. And that we are fulfilling to this bill. Once the bill, when in 2007 as envisaged, has 20 national institutes, then in 2012, 5 Indian Institute of Science Education, which are called popularly as ICERs, and 10 new NITs were added to it. And in 2014, there was one amendment for one institute, Bengal Engineering Science University, Shibpur, and that was added. So they became 36 now. And today we are adding one more, that makes 37 national important universities, out of which 31 will be NITs, 5 will be ICERs, 1 will be Indian Institute of Engineering Science and Technology, Shibpur. So all this is put together. This NIT is already operational in a way, but it is working in the campus of Wasavi Engineering College in Tipigudem in West Godavari district of Andhra Pradesh. Now there are already 900 students which are part of the story. This is the second year. But now after this, there are 4-year course. It will be a big institute of 2,000. We'll have separate campus of it. 140 acres land is already handed over, and it is handed over by the Andhra Pradesh state government. And now the DPR is in finalization. Next 2 months, we have already budgeted 40 crore rupees, and Haribabu is here. He was following it with it. And that DPR, we will immediately come to a decision on DPR and will release the sanction funds. Already we have released 10 crores, but we'll release 40 crores. And let me assure at this point of time that there will be no dearth of expenditure or funds for this program, because this is a very prestigious program. And therefore, we will do it. And Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, when these two states separated, government led by Narendra Modi ji has taken many decisions. I was, till last 2 weeks ago, I was heading the Environment, Forest and Climate Change Ministry. There was an issue of formation of the state capital for the new state of Andhra Pradesh. They have decided to form it at Amravati place, which is between Vijayawada and Guntur. And for that, there was forest land. Our Forest Diversion Act says that you cannot divert forest land for any non-forest purpose which is not site-specific. But we took a policy decision, not anybody arbitrary action. We took a policy decision that for a newly carved out state, if the capital is to be created, because that is essential, then we must give land there, and they are giving additional land. I must compliment Andhra Pradesh government that they have offered alternative land for afforestation in the Tiger Corridor area. That is also one important environmental aspect. And therefore, the government is committed to fulfill all promises given to both the new states of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, and therefore we will, this is in continuation of that mission to fulfill the promises, that this bill of instituting National Institute of Technology at Tipigudem in West Godavari district of Andhra Pradesh. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. Shri Shashi Tharoor. Okay.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, it's always very encouraging for us when new institutions of higher education are established in our country to cater to the growing aspirations, the tremendous potential, and the vast needs of our youthful population. The future is theirs, and it is for us to help shape it through creating quality institutions such as the IITs and the NITs. To this extent, Mr. Deputy Speaker, the amendment to the National Institutes of Technology, Science, Education and Research Bill 2016 to add the NIT in Andhra Pradesh to the schedule of the Parent Act of 2007 is something we welcome as a party, and if I may say so in my personal capacity as a former MOS in Javadekar Saab's Ministry of Human Resource Development. However, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, it is also my duty as a parliamentarian to bring to the attention of this House the complete disregard of this government for the principle of quality in its quest for mere quantity. What, for instance, is the current state of this very NIT in Andhra Pradesh that we are discussing here today? The NIT, with 900 students already, as the Minister told us, functions out of a temporary campus. There are no laboratories, no libraries, no high-quality IT or engineering tools for training. Can you imagine an engineering college without a functioning laboratory or library books? The fact is, there is an acute shortage of infrastructure in terms of accommodation as well. So we have a situation where we've created an institution which was not ready to be launched. But in a haste to put the foundation stone unanswered, they have gone ahead. The result is, even to stay, there is a girls' hostel functioning, but the boys are accommodated in a village somewhere else. The NIT has been permitted to commence activities, but do we want shells of institutions, Mr. Minister, or path-breaking resource centres that will truly make a difference? And I want to contrast this to what we have just seen in my constituency 2 weeks ago, when a fully functioning Central Polytechnic, the best known in Kerala, established in 1949, was de-recognized by the AICT in your ministry for not fulfilling a list of conditions that they deemed had to be fulfilled. If that same list were applied to the new NIT in Andhra Pradesh, it would have been de-recognized by the same AICT. So the problem in our system is that our higher education, I said this when I was a minister as well, our higher education is over-regulated and under-governed. We really need to focus on what the purpose of education is, how do we bring about learning outcomes for our children, and not focus irrelevantly on excessive regulation. Now, there is a larger problem that is hidden behind this bill, my dear Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. Even our premier IITs are facing today a shortage of trained faculty. According to the government's own figures, it's about 42% in the IITs, but in the NITs, the shortage is now in the glaring vicinity of 50% of the authorized faculty. There are no teachers, Mr. Deputy Speaker, and students are being herded into half-built campuses with half the faculty strength to receive an education that can only be called half-baked. And frankly, this is inadequate. We cannot run education like this. On top of that, employers across the board are complaining about the unemployability of Indian graduates. A recent FICCI survey shows a figure of 62% of employers are dissatisfied with the quality of our engineering graduates. And this is a fact. In fact, I've spoken to many CEOs, as I'm sure you have done. Infosys and Tatas and so on have set up their own campuses to train the people they have already hired after an engineering degree, not on-the-job training, but to make up for the deficiencies of the education we are giving them in our engineering colleges. So they're getting 9 months, I beg your pardon, to 1 year of new education because our education isn't good enough. And of course, they're paying teachers better, so many teachers are leaving and going to Tatas and Infosys and companies like that, rather than staying in the NITs and coming to the IITs. Yes, we are proud of our IITs, that's the next bill you're bringing up, no problem, but these are largely islands of excellence floating in a sea of mediocrity. And the truth is, we have to be conscious that NITs live up to the standard that the name National Institute of Technology implies. The fact is that in our haste to add more on paper, we must not lose sight of the fact that these are meant to set standards, new standards, higher standards. If your walls do not hold and you have no teachers to set the right intellectual standards, you will collapse. And it's not just the building that will collapse, it will take with it the futures and the prospects of the bright young people who are going to build the India of tomorrow. I looked at your own ministry's documentation, Javadekar Sahab, a UGC survey of 1471 colleges and 111 universities have found that 73% of the colleges and 68% of the universities have a quality that the HRD UGC considers to be medium or low. Medium or low quality, right? And yet what we are spending in the latest budget of this government, 1.2% of our GDP on higher education. Frankly, that compares with 3.1% in the US. Okay, we're not the US, but take South Korea, not far away, 2.4%, double what we are spending. Now, since we're talking about the NITs, let me stress that a working paper on the quality of engineering education in BRIC countries has been released. As you know, Mr. Deputy Speaker, India is now going to host the BRIC summit and all the BRIC conferences this year. Now, according to that, average spending per year in engineering education is the lowest in the BRICS countries. We are spending $1,300 a year. China spends $4,300 a year per capita, and Brazil spends $5,000 a year. So even our fellow BRICS members, companions in the developing world, are leaving us behind, and they have policies that focus rightly on quality and not just quantity. And by the way, while we are on BRICS, let me mention in terms of higher education and training, Russia is 47th amongst 148 countries surveyed in the world. We are at only rank 91. We don't even have complete campuses like the NIT we are just approving today. No wonder the statistics are stacked against us. And though I'm not going to speak on the next bill on the IITs, let me again remind you of the Kakodkar Committee reforms, because really we ought to take those into account and implement them. They've been sitting with your government for 2 years on the IITs. Now, in global rankings, Mr. Deputy Speaker, we know our IITs don't feature in the top 100. It's with difficulty that some appear in the top 200. But when we come to the NITs, they do not feature anywhere in the top 500. Now, why is this the case? Why is it that we are so insistent on increasing the numbers of our institutions without a corresponding interest in ensuring we improve the quality of our institutions? Governments can exploit sheer numbers for public relations purposes. But what about the hundreds of students who enter these institutions each year in the hope of getting a decent education, but are told upon graduation that they are unemployable and they need to be trained all over again? The quantum of support that our government is granting to higher education institutions is simply insignificant in comparison to funding that other countries, other governments are giving. In fact, I think Harvard University's research and development funds alone exceed that of the entire HRD budget that Mr. Jaitley has given Mr. Javadekar. All the UGC, all the agencies, everything put together will come under one university in America. There are, of course, structural and financial differences between us and Harvard. I'm not comparing. But the point is, can we make fuller and better and wiser use of our resources instead of fragmenting them by spreading them right across this horizon of mediocrity that I described? We should be building big ships that can withstand the ocean and not boats that will collapse at the first waves. Now, you mentioned, Mr. Minister, in your remarks, the importance of innovation. I agree with you 100%. When I was there, I would make the same point. But look at what we are doing. India today has 17% of the world's brains, because we have 17% of the world's people. But we are only producing 3.5% of the world's global research output. There is something wrong there. What are we doing to tap the possibilities of industry-academia collaboration? My government had accepted the report given by Mr. Narayan Murthy to promote more academia-industry interface. I would suggest, as I respectfully suggested when I was there earlier, that we could, for example, allow companies to come directly to our IITs and NITs and say, here is a research project. If you have students who are prepared to research this, whatever comes up, we'll have an agreement, we'll innovate something, and NIT can share the profits with the private company. It happens very commonly in the West. But we need a policy decision from you that will allow the NITs and other institutions to have this kind of relationship with companies. Similarly, why can't we get more private sector money into these? We admit that you don't have enough money in your budget. Look at the OECD countries. 75% of research and development funding in the OECD countries comes from the private sector. In our case, it's only 15% from the private sector. Why is everything being dependent upon the government? I think, having heard your Prime Minister's our Prime Minister's speeches, we should expect that this government should be reaching out much more to infuse more funding into our NITs and IITs. And pending, when we lost our position in the government, was our Research and Innovation Bill, which would have allowed the setting up of some 14 universities purely for research and innovation, including with private sector funding, on a PPP mode or even on a sole ownership mode. Please look at that bill again and see if you would like to revive it, because the honest truth is, your diagnosis is right. We need more innovation, we need more research, but we are yet to hear a convincing prescription, because with that diagnosis, you also need to prescribe a solution that takes into account these ideas. Now, considering that the NIT in Andhra Pradesh has already been functioning for 1 year, I have to say to you, Mr. Minister, that even its website does not inspire confidence. Please go look at it. For example, the section on faculty has just 2 lines. I'm quoting now. Faculty for the new institute will be taken initially under ad hoc basis. Some senior faculty members superannuated from IITs and NITs also will be taken. In addition to this, faculty members from the mentoring institute, NIT Warangal, will be taking classes, both theory and lab, on a regular basis. Quote unquote. This is the entire website thing on faculty at NIT that you have just asked us to approve. Now, this, Mr. Deputy Speaker, this is where our children's future is being crafted. This is where tomorrow's leaders are being told to dream their dreams. I ask you, Mr. Minister, are we doing them justice? Is it any wonder that 82% of our country's engineering graduates are ending up in professions that do not require an engineering degree? What is the government doing to align the establishment of educational institutions like this NIT that we are approving today with market research, so that we know what employers are looking for before we push our children through an engineering degree? Let's see what they want. Where is the need? What kind of engineers do we want in India? And what do employers want? Does the government want? Does the future want? Is the government creating NITs within a framework that aligns education with employment and both with the country's needs? Where is our value added? What can we do that others are not doing better than us and with more money than us? Now, what is happening to our engineering graduates, Mr. Deputy Speaker? I must tell you, last month, the Madhya Pradesh Department, Police Department, advertised 14,000 constable jobs. Constable posts, okay? 9 lakh candidates applied for these Madhya Pradesh Police Department posts, among which were 10,000 engineering graduates and a dozen PhD holders, plus another 1,90,000 graduates and 15,000 postgraduates. They want to be constables in Madhya Pradesh because the fact is we are releasing graduates into an ecosystem that does not know how to use them. We have talent in our country, but we do not know how to mold it, how to put it forward. We need to change the ecosystem, and that includes, Mr. Minister, providing incentives, including incentives for innovation. I was very interested to learn from Professor Mashelkar that he is now giving up, out of his own money, government is not doing it, an annual prize for innovation. I know you know him well. Find out about this. The first prize, first year, was won by a young man who actually targeted a real need in our country. That is, as you know, we have something like 15 million people who go blind because of preventable blindness. Most of this could be prevented by a very simple eye test for glaucoma early on, so they can catch it in time. For that, you need drops which will dilate your eyes and you can't see clearly for the rest of the day or for several hours. Most of these poor Indians are daily wage workers. They can't afford to lose a day's wage, so they avoid the test because they can't afford not to have their eyes. So this man invented a test for glaucoma that does not require dilation of the eyes, and now poor people can. So Mashelkar Sahib said this is where we should give prizes for innovation. Innovation that is targeting the needs of our country's people. And I would urge you, Mr. Minister, that the ministry itself should come up with a national level incentive like this to encourage more innovation in the NITs, IITs and elsewhere. So finally, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I'm not opposing this bill. My party and I want more higher education institutions to open their door to India's young people who are hungry for education. But we all want these additional institutions to be solid ones, to be well equipped with teachers and resources, and to produce quality learning outcomes so that their graduates can go forth confidently into the world where their skills can command good prospects in the employment market. Can we truly say that is the case today, Mr. Minister? I think in all honesty, even though we are not here to oppose this bill, we want you to think very seriously about these larger issues that I have raised. So with these words, Mr. Deputy Speaker, let us by all means declare this NIT to be an institution of national importance, but let us also make it an institution of truly national importance. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
As member spoke, we need more NITs. Good. At the same time, we need more fund allocation. Without fund, you cannot do anything. That is the problem what the ministry is facing. That is very important. That is why the ad hoc basis they are running an institution.
The front row. We would be happy if the present HRD minister will be elevated to the front row. Let him come at least address this house in front of the front row.
Previous minister also used to sit there only. No. Previously also, his predecessors also used to stay one.
Sir.
Thank you. Right, all right. Sri Hari Babu. No, they are allocated separately, therefore.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity to speak on this very important bill concerning to the state of Andhra Pradesh. Sir, this bill, National Institute of Technology, Science Education and Research Amendment Bill, is primarily to include National Institute of Technology, Andhra Pradesh, in the list of institutions of national importance. Sir, this NIT is being situated at Tadepalligudem in the state of Andhra Pradesh. My friend Shashi Tharoorji mentioned that it is a hasty decision to start this institution in temporary campus. But I wish to bring to your kind notice, sir, this is not a hasty decision. You see, the state of Andhra Pradesh was divided in 2004, and the feelings of Andhra Pradesh people were severely hurt. When the state was divided, there was not even a single institution of national importance in the state of divided Andhra Pradesh. The Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Bill also states the establishment of about 11 institutions in Andhra Pradesh. Therefore, to instill the confidence among the people of Andhra Pradesh, the NDA government led by Narendra Modi ji have taken a decision to start 9 out of 11 institutions that are being mentioned in Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act, and assured the people of Andhra Pradesh that NDA government is with them. As part of the assurances given, the NDA government has taken the steps to start the National Institute of Technology in the state of Andhra Pradesh under mentorship of National Institute of Technology, Warangal. Warangal is a very reputed institution, NIT, and they are taking all steps to see that this institution also will get the national importance and in providing the quality education in all engineering branches, sir. Sir, when the state is divided, we don't have any IIT, we don't have any IIM, we don't have not even a single NIT, we don't have IISCR. Therefore, NDA government has taken a decision to start NIT, IIM, IIT, NICER, etc. And I compliment the government for taking that such a bold decision to start 9 institutions out of 11 promised in a span of 20 months of time. I think that after the independence of the country from 1947, no central government has done to any particular state as NDA government has done to the state of Andhra Pradesh during the last 20 months. Sir, I also compliment the minister for providing 480 seats in the very first year of NIT establishment. Wherever they have started, they have given only 240. Because 50% of the seats are only meant for the domicile state. Therefore, to safeguard the interests of the students from Andhra Pradesh, the number of seats intake is being given as 480, so that 240 Andhra students can get opportunity, and that is the magnanimous decision taken by the government, sir. Sir, the funds were being allocated, and they are taking all steps to provide basic infrastructure that is required for the National Institute of Technology, established at Tadepalligudem in Andhra Pradesh. Land was identified, land was being handed over to Government of India for taking up the construction of the buildings. I request Honorable Minister to take steps to see that the construction of the buildings are being taken up immediately and finished expeditiously. Because nowadays when the building contract is being given, the construction work is being delayed due to cash flow problems. I have a suggestion to the Honorable Minister to consider. There are foreign financial institutions which are coming forward to finance for the projects with LIBOR interest rates at a low percentage. Therefore, the Ministry of Human Resource Development, the contractor who is going to implement the project, and also the state government and the financial institution, they can have some sort of a memorandum of understanding, and the cash flow problems can be sorted out by taking assistance from the financial institutions, and the money taken for construction can be repaid in installments in the coming 3 to 4 years. I think I request Honorable Minister to consider this suggestion, sir. Sir, out of 11 institutions that were promised to Andhra Pradesh in Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act, 9 were established. Only 2 institutions were left over for establishment in Andhra Pradesh, sir. One is the Central University, the other is the Tribal University. These 2 universities are to be considered for establishment in Andhra Pradesh at the earliest, sir. For that, there is a requirement of passing a bill or making an act in the Parliament. I request the Honorable Minister to take steps so that those institutions, 2 institutions, can also be Tribal and Central University. One Central University and another Tribal University, sir. If these 2 institutions can also be started during this academic year or the next academic year, Andhra Pradesh people will be thankful and grateful to the Government of India led by Narendra Modi ji, sir. Sir, I have 2 suggestions. One is encouraging the quality education and the innovation. I think in this direction I would like to suggest, as the government led by Narendra Modi ji is giving emphasis on skill development and innovation. Therefore, every institute of national importance should have a skill development center and also innovation center, so that the people can be encouraged to improve their skills in these institutions, because these institutions have a lot of infrastructure for the training to be given. Therefore, I also bring to your kind notice, sir, in engineering education there are 4 or 5 tiers of institutions. The first tier is the Indian Institute of Technology. The second one is the National Institute of Technologies. The third one is the engineering colleges organized by the universities, university engineering colleges. The fourth tier is the engineering colleges in the private sector of good quality and also of poor quality. Therefore, I request Government of India, because the state governments are not in a position to deploy more funds for encouraging the infrastructure development in these state university colleges, I request the Honorable Minister to consider how these university colleges can also be taken up on par with NITs and other institutions. I think if we can take up these steps, the quality of engineering education can improve. There is no doubt that engineering graduates coming out of many of the private poor quality engineering colleges are not having the necessary skills to be employed. I think we should take care of those people who are coming out of engineering colleges to impart them more skills so that they can be employed by the various industries and organizations. Thank you very much.
Sri Selva Chennaya.
Deputy Speaker, sir, I wish to express my sincere gratitude to our beloved leader, Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Puratchi Thalaivi Amma, for giving this opportunity to speak on this bill. The National Institute of Technology, NITs, are group of premier public engineering institutes in India. These institutes of national importance receive special recognition and funding from the Government of India. The Tamil Nadu, under the dynamic leader of Honorable Chief Minister of Puratchi Thalaivi Amma, has been the education hub in the country. The National Institutes of Technology at Trichapalli, popularly called REC Trichy in earlier days, have produced great personalities occupying top positions in government, public and private sector companies in the past and present. Many of them have received pinnacle of success in socio-economic world. Deputy Speaker, sir, on their inception of decades ago, all NITs were referred to as regional engineering colleges and were governed by their respective state governments. In 2002, the then MHRD Minister Murali Manohar Joshi decided to upgrade all RICs to National Institute of Technology. The upgrade was designed along the line of the prestigious Indian Institute of Technology, IITs. The NITs are found to be promote regional diversity and multicultural understanding in India, comprising 131 autonomous institutes that are each located in one major state and territory of India. In 2007, the Indian government declared these schools as Institute of National Importance. Deputy Speaker, sir, the NIT Council is supreme governing body of Indians 31 National Institute of Technology system. Admission to undergraduate course BTech in NITs through the highly competitive joint entrance examination mains. From 2015, the Joint Seat Allocation Authority conducts common counseling and allocates seats jointly for all Indian Institute of Technology, IITs, National Institutes of Technology, NITs, and Indian Institute of Information Technology, IITs. In 2015, over 13 lakh candidates appeared for the JEE exam for admission to 28,000 undergraduate engineering seats in 68 centrally funded technical institutes that include all 19 IITs, 10,000 seats, 31 NITs, 15,500 seats, and 18 IITs, 2,500 seats. All NITs are autonomous, which is enabled them to set up their own curriculum. I request the government to provide certain number of seats for poor and deserving students recommended by the respective state governments. The NIT Andhra Pradesh has been set up to cater to the needs of state of Andhra Pradesh, which do not have NITs. The NIT Andhra Pradesh will specifically be benefited to the state of Andhra Pradesh and the whole country in general. NIT Andhra Pradesh will be covered under the National Institutes of Technology, Science Education and Research Act 2007 to declare it an institution of national importance, which will ultimately help in addressing the aspirations of people in the mainstream of technical education. NIT Andhra Pradesh was established at temporary campus at West Godavari district of Andhra Pradesh. The state government of Andhra Pradesh has also provided land for NIT Andhra Pradesh at West Godavari district of Andhra Pradesh. I would also request the union government to allocate more funds for such highly commendable and performing NITs in the country like the NIT Tiruchirappalli, and also suggest to the government to encourage and generate financial support from the most successful people and to form corpus fund for all NITs in the country. Thank you very much, sir.
Sri Sugata Bose.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, may I at the outset express my appreciation to our new Honourable Minister for Human Resource Development for felicitating all the teacher MPs on the occasion of Guru Purnima a couple of days ago. That was a very fine symbolic gesture on his part, and we on our part wish him all the best in discharging the onerous responsibility that he has been given to improve our educational system.